If a TikTok told you to skip law school and save the money, the data says you've got about a 1 in 5 chance of ever becoming a lawyer. And Kim Kardashian just proved it the hard way. She spent 6 years apprenticing instead of going to law school. She failed the baby bar 3 times before she passed it. Then she failed the actual California bar in July 2025. She admitted on a podcast recently that she had been studying with ChatGPT, and ChatGPT kept giving her wrong answers. She also consulted psychics, and the psychics were also wrong. And she's not sitting for the bar again until 2027. And according to the following study, she counts as a success because there was a new 35-year study that just dropped from researchers at Chicago Law, Northwestern, and Cleveland State. They tracked every American who tried to skip law school and become a lawyer between 1984 and 2019. And the findings are worse than anyone selling this online wants you to know. So if you've been hearing you don't need law school anymore in your feed, I want you to hear this before you make a 6-figure decision that you can't take back. Let's start with the schools themselves because some of them are exactly what you're picturing. The study tracked one non-ABA law school, quote unquote, that ran out of a law office in a San Diego strip mall. The owner was the lawyer, the dean, and the entire faculty, and this school never graduated a single student. And that was not a fluke. The researchers found that around 30 of these schools that opened, took people's money and time, and closed, never produced a single working lawyer. There's one school in Alabama they flagged that doesn't even require the LSAT to get in. And this is the system that the people telling you to skip law school is telling you to trust. Now, in the states that allow these pathways, people who skipped law school make up only 4% of everyone who passes the bar. And that same group makes up 23% of everybody who fails it. So nearly a quarter of bar failures come from a group that's only 1 in 25 of the people passing. And the raw passage rates are brutal. ABA grads pass the bar at 60 to 70%. Those taking the shortcut pass at the rate of 20 to 30%. In California, ABA grads pass the bar at a rate of 58%. Non-ABA grads pass at a rate of 20%. Now, the real question, of course, is whether you actually get a job at the end. In California, the non-ABA schools only reported employment outcomes for about half of their graduating class. And even among that half, the ones they chose to report, barely 54% of those had a job that actually required a law degree. So imagine you spend years on this, you maybe pass the bar, and there's a real chance you end up with a job that doesn't even require a law degree. And if you do make it, you are 57% less likely to work at a large firm than somebody from the worst ranked ABA school in the country. Now, if you're sharp, maybe you're pushing back here. You're thinking, maybe these people would have failed anyway. Maybe it's not the school, but it's who enrolled in the school. And that is a fair objection because the people who take this route do tend to start off with lower scores and fewer options, and some of them might have struggled at an ABA school also. But even if it is pure selection, the outcome is still the outcome. The pathway they're on doesn't help them or fix the situation. The route's entire track record is people who didn't make it, so why would you go on that route yourself? Now, then someone like Kim Kardashian, who has unlimited money, private tutors, zero financial pressures, and she still failed after 6 years using ChatGPT and consulting psychics along the way. Now, she's only a success story in this data because she's still going at it. Most people in her position quit years ago, and the study only counts those who actually pass in the end. If the resourced version of this fails, the working full-time version is not going to do any better. They'll probably do a lot worse. Now, there is a political fight happening right now around law school accreditation. The FTC has been pushing states to drop ABA accreditation as a bar requirement. Texas and Florida finalized it a few months ago. Alabama cut the ABA out last month, and Tennessee's deciding right now. And on May 15th, the ABA's own council voted 10-4 to repeal its diversity standard, even though 48 of the 50 public comments opposed it. And they did it anyway. Now, I do think a lot of this is political theater aimed at an institution the administration doesn't like. and the alternative pathways is the talking point bolted on top. But the politics here is not the point, though. The point is that with 35 years of data, those who go the non-ABA route end up with worse outcomes. Now, there are real critiques of the ABA that I think are fair. The tuition of law school is too high. The online options are too late and too few. Rural America does need more lawyers, and those are all real issues. But stripping accreditation isn't going to fix any of this. Now, there is a brand new bar exam, the next gen bar exam, rolling out next month. And the school you pick, the state you sit in, and the exam itself are all changing at once. If you're applying to start law school in fall 2027, you're aiming at a moving target. Now, for almost everybody watching this right now, skipping law school is the wrong move. If you do skip law school, the data says you'll fail the bar far more often. You might not land a job that requires the degree, and even if you pass, your ceiling sits below the lowest ranked ABA grad in the country. Now, there is one real exception here. If you're already working in a law office in a state that allows this, and you've got no interest in working at a big firm, and you genuinely cannot relocate, the apprenticeship route might be a good route for you. But that's a pretty narrow group. If that's not you, I wouldn't go that route. So the real move is, unfortunately, the boring one. Get into the best ABA accredited law school you can, and don't pay sticker tuition for it. Get yourself that scholarship money. Don't take on the debt. Now, if the question is, how do you avoid the debt? How do you get the scholarships? It comes down to getting a higher LSAT score. If you can get an LSAT score above the medians of the law school that you're targeting, you're going to not only get into better law schools, but they will also give you more scholarship money because you help them raise their standing in the US News Law School rankings. And if you want my help getting an LSAT score that gives you those outcomes, I'm happy to help you out. I'm offering a free LSAT tutoring lesson for everybody watching this now or later. The link to book that free tutoring lesson with me is unpluggedprep.com/start. The link is below the video, pinned in the chat, in my bio on TikTok and IG as well.